They once said that time would move on, that the lights of Oakland and San Francisco would eventually dim. But what if time didn't fade away? It simply changed its shape. While half the NBA speaks about rebuilding, the Golden State Warriors still whisper a different word: legacy. This is not the same young team that changed the game a decade ago. Now they walk back into the arena older, wiser, carrying the weight of their history, but still as dangerous as ever. There's something different in their eyes this season, a blend of experience and urgency, like warriors who know the battle may soon end but still refuse to drop their swords. A new veteran has arrived. Rumors of trades swirl in the air. And somewhere beneath the excitement, one question burns quietly in every fan's heart. Does this team still have enough left for one more run? The 2025 season feels like more than just another chapter. It feels like the most emotional, most symbolic year of the Stephen Curry era. For the first time in nearly 10 years, Golden State seems caught between two timelines: a glorious past that won't let go, and a future that keeps waiting at the door. And right in the middle of that tug-of-war stands a name familiar to every basketball fan: Al Horford. The veteran center, once the backbone of elite defenses, now joins this dynasty not to chase numbers, but to bring balance. His arrival isn't about making headlines, it's about restoring order. When Golden State announced his signing, there were no fireworks, no parades, but behind the quiet reaction, the true believers understood its meaning. It wasn't just another contract, it was a message. The dynasty that turned basketball into art was taking one last, deliberate step. A step of those who still want to fight, even when their legs don't move as fast as they used to. At 39, Al Horford walks into Chase Center with a mission far beyond the box score. He's not there to be a star. He's there to be an anchor. Steve Kerr made that clear from day one. Horford will not play back-to-back games. It's non-negotiable. Together with performance coach Rick Celebrini, they've built a careful plan. Choose the battles, rest when needed, and stretch the moments that matter most. It's a smart call. At his age, the body recovers slowly. But the mind, still sharp as ever. His positioning, timing, and game IQ remain elite. Curry and Jimmy Butler immediately praised him, not for his athleticism, but for his ability to think the game and organize the defense. Yet beneath the praise lies a silent truth. This team is aging, and what once sounded like an insult now feels like simple reality. Horford's two-year, $11.6 million deal might be his final one. He knows it, and that's exactly why he chose Golden State. Because if his journey is ending, it should end among champions who understand the meaning of sacrifice. Still, the schedule won't show mercy. 16 back-to-backs mean Horford will miss at least 8 games, and in a brutal Western Conference, those games can be the difference between a top seed and the play-in. Without him, Curry will turn to young blood, players like Trace Jackson Davis, full of energy but still learning, and rookie Quinton Post, whose skill shines but whose body hasn't yet met the league's physical toll. The rotation plan is simple. Horford starts, sets the tone, holds the defense steady. Jackson Davis brings spark and speed. Post develops gradually, but the NBA rarely respects simple plans. Meanwhile, the financial pressure is suffocating. Curry, Butler, Draymond Green, and Kuminga take up most of the cap space. Every remaining dollar must be spent like gold dust. That's how the team landed DeAnthony Melton and kept Gary Payton Teschen. That's also why Seth Curry, Steph's brother, had to go. It was a hard cut, more symbolic than strategic. A reminder that this era of Warriors basketball is defined not just by talent, but by the painful choices time demands. Inside the locker room, there's an unspoken understanding. The Warriors are holding their dynasty together with tape and willpower. Analyst Alexander Gill wrote that the bench might be their undoing, and he could be right. Because when the veterans sit, the weight falls on the shoulders of Moody, Podziemski, and Kuminga. They're the future, but in Golden State, the future doesn't wait. Curry understands that better than anyone. He's been trying to achieve the impossible. Stay competitive without breaking his body or his teammates. And that's where Horford becomes more than a player. He becomes a symbol. His role isn't just defense, it's control, wisdom, and survival. It's ironic. Years ago, Joel Embiid did the same, sitting out back-to-backs to protect his body. Except Embiid was in his prime. Horford is near the end, and that difference changes everything. Yet, there's something inspiring about how he embraces it. In Boston, he proved that aging gracefully doesn't mean fading away, it means evolving. He talked less, but his voice carried further. He played fewer minutes, but his presence mattered more. Now, in San Francisco, he's doing it again. Teaching, guiding, showing the young ones how to think the game. Reports say he's always the first to arrive at practice and the last to leave. He mentors Jackson Davis on defensive reads, advises Kuminga on pick-and-roll reactions, and even fine-tunes Curry's timing between shots and rebounds. Little things, invisible things, but the kind that win playoff games. That's why Kerr wanted him. Because Golden State has always been about more than skill. It's about rhythm, intelligence, and the symphony of teamwork. But a quiet shadow lingers. Fatigue. Curry will need rest. Horford too. And Jimmy Butler, their emotional engine, walks a thin line between health and exhaustion. What happens when all three need recovery at once? That's where the risk lives. That's when the castle starts to shake. Projections say 56 wins. Optimistic, maybe too much. Because those numbers depend on something no stat can guarantee. Health. If Curry, Butler, Horford, and Green can stay on the court for 65 games, the balance holds. If one falls, the structure collapses. And yet, beyond the stats, there's something human holding this team together. The feeling that maybe this is the last great dance. The final chapter for Curry, for Green, for Horford. Every time Al steps on the floor, it feels like time itself slows down. Because he doesn't just play, he honors the game. While others chase stats, he chases purpose. And that's the soul of the 2025 Warriors. A team that once had everything, lost a little, and now fights to prove it still has enough. Legacy isn't always about winning again. It's about refusing to quit when your body begs you to. And that's where Horford fits perfectly. Tired? Yes. But with that same fire still burning behind the eyes. Yet, what if the move that truly reshapes Golden State's future isn't Horford signing at all? What if it's still coming? A trade that could rewrite everything? The rumor mill is already spinning. It started with one tweet, one whisper. But when the name Stephen Curry shows up in any trade talk, the world listens. Mark Deluxe of SB Nation dropped the big one. A possible deal sending Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and 2 future first-round picks to Miami for Tyler Herro. At first, it sounded like one of those off-season fantasies that live in comment sections. But look closer, and it starts to make sense. Since Kevin Durant left, the Warriors have missed that pure scorer, the offensive spark who can relieve Curry. Tyler Herro might be that missing piece. At 25, he's a cold-blooded shot creator, averaging over 21 points a game, 39% from deep. He plays with swagger and confidence, a killer instinct when the clock is dying. Imagine him sharing the backcourt with Curry, 2 shooters who can play on or off the ball, forcing defenses into chaos. But the cost? Kuminga, the symbol of the future. Trading him means choosing the present over tomorrow. And that's the franchise's biggest dilemma. Because Curry's time is now. Every season is a race against the clock, every window smaller than the last. It's a gamble. Harrow brings scoring, experience, and attitude. Kuminga brings energy, growth, and promise. One is a spark for today, the other is hope for tomorrow. Miami might see it as a rebuild. Golden State as one final push. With Harrow, the Warriors lineup, Curry, Harrow, Butler, Green, Horford, would look balanced, veteran-heavy, and lethal on offense. But how do you keep the chemistry right? How do you balance two guards who need the ball? How do you explain losing a young star to a locker room that loves him? Those are the questions stats can't answer. But maybe, just maybe, the Warriors have one more bold move in them. Because that's how this dynasty was built. In risk, in faith, in fire. They've never feared the unknown. The truth is, this season isn't just about basketball, it's about meaning. The 2025 Warriors are standing between eras. Behind them lies greatness. Ahead lies uncertainty. In the middle, a group still trying to defy time itself. Horford represents wisdom. Harrow, hunger, and Curry? He's the bridge. The man who changed basketball, still standing under the same light, ready to give whatever's left. This team may not be the fastest or the youngest, but it's something rarer, a living symbol of persistence. They play not for numbers, but for belief. Because even if the league has moved on, they haven't. And neither have their fans. Every possession carries emotion. Every rest minute feels like a prayer. Every rumor feels like destiny moving closer. Maybe they won't win 56 games. Maybe they'll stumble. But if there's one last playoff run, one more series, one final Curry shot, no one will want to be on the other side. Because Golden State's heart still beats. The shield still shines. The dynasty might be aging, but it's not done. And when the lights dim and the arena falls silent, you'll still hear the echo of an era that refuses to end. Because basketball isn't just about who wins, it's about who still believes. And the Golden State Warriors? They still believe.